Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Yes, tonight we're reviewing the movie Student Body. The 2022 version. Not
the 19.
There's a Student Bodies, right? Movie.
Yes.
Bodies.
Bodies.
Back in the day, yeah.
On the 1980s. So I got myself confused, which I generally do. But anyway, let me introduce the crew, starting off with Crystal Cleveland, Livinodeadóirl. How you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, scary?
I'm great. I don't even know what to say. I didn't work something fun up. I guess
You didn't do your homework.
no.
You have to go back to school.
Yeah, go back to school.
Oof. If a school's like no.
Also
I'm
joining us tonight is the one and only award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
Insert appropriate Dawson's Creek wannabe line.
Nice. All right. Well, let's go to detention with the one and only Dave Dreher. How you doing, sir?
I'm dropping this class, Doc.
Oh.
You're dropping something.
Dropping the class.
Dropping a deuce.
I'm outta here.
Anyway,
Dropping a deuce.
Was I making that face again?
dropping the kids over the pool.
Oh,
No, what am I
boy.
doing? I don't know. We're dropping something. Dropping the ball.
I don't know what we've devolved
Dropping
into.
trowel. No. No.
And moving right along.
All right. So
And now that no one's going to take us seriously. Yes.
did they ever? All right. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to give our first impressions of a Student Body. That will be spoiler free, and then we'll get into a discussion. And there might be a spoiler or two that flop around out there. And then we're going to wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. And of course, we hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. Check them out. And if you want to help us out, it's easy for you to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with a friend, and we'll be happy. Well, thank you.
Yay.
And of course, leave us a comment down below. All right, let's take a look at the card, shall we? Drum roll, if you believe. Student Body from 1091 Pictures, available on digital beginning February 8th, 2022. Written, directed by Ann Kurr. The cast includes Christian Camargo, Monsi, thank you, Monsi Hernandez, Cheyenne Haynes, Harley Quinn Smith, Austin Zager, Anthony Cavan. We'll go with that. Synopsis: a distressing incident compels childhood best friends Jane and Merritt to take action against their high school math teacher, driving their splintered relationship into further turmoil and provoking deadly consequences. That's what we're here for. Those deadly consequences. All right, let's
You say so.
Yeah, I that's what we're here for. Do we get them though? Do we get them? All right, let's find out. What are the first impressions where Crystal starts off?
Okay, so I love Christian. I think he's fabulous, and I think he did a wonderful job in this. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way,
First impressions, bye!
bye! And that's all. I could just look at him all day, so that's fine. I don't know what it is about him, but he's wonderful. Anyway, okay, boy, this movie. I didn't know what to expect going in, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know why, but based on the poster, I was like, oh, this looks like it's going to be a really great 80s-ish type slasher flick, and unfortunately, it's really not. Well, you know, when we look at all the 80s, maybe it kind of is. There is a little bit of sadness within me for this movie because, to be completely honest with you, the first half is rather boring. Like, it's almost painfully boring. The kids are not compelling. They're not interesting. God, I just hate that I'm pooping on this, but the acting, not from everyone, and I'm not going to name names. Not you, Christian. is not good by some of them. It's actually really there were points where it was like, ooh, it's cringy.
Cringy. There was cringy.
Yeah, God. The kills are not visible for the most part. They're, they shy away from the gore. So I kind of feel like, is this movie made for 12-year-olds? I don't know, because they shy away from the gore. They only show a little bit of the aftermath. There's nothing really over sexualized. I mean, there's, yeah, it was an okay watch. The story is, quite frankly, the story is just silly. I'm sorry. It's just silly. It's just silly. It just is so silly. I don't know what the point of it is. I don't know what they're trying to prove. I don't know what they're trying to say. I think they were trying to make even caricatures out of these particular kids, and it didn't even work. Yeah.
They're saying it's silly.
This movie was. I'm
Wow, it pains
I'm
you. It
saddened.
pains you.
I'm saddened by the fact that there are a couple people in this movie that, that couldn't make it better for the rest, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say the location was great. That was a really cool location, and it was filmed in Georgia, so that's cool.
There you go.
Love Georgia.
All right, let's find out what the rest of the crew think. Starting off with Christopher G. Mohr, sir. First impression?
What was this rated?
PG-12.
Oh my God!
So bad. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
Because it doesn't feel like it's R-rated. Not that
No.
that's a bad thing, because Poltergeist is PG, but
Yeah.
this felt a little bit bloodless to be like a slasher film.
Mm-hmm.
And I love slasher films. I'm a big fan of those. And so going into this, you got a big, like a mascot killer. It seemed like it would have all the right things to sort of make it something that could be really fun, and I'll be the first to say a lot of times slashers, at least the slashers I grew up watching, a lot of them aren't, the most well-written scripts
Yep.
or have
That's
the most
exactly, yep.
fleshed out characters. But this one, I don't know. I ended up being bored with a lot of the characters. They weren't just, the characters weren't fun, because you look at things like Scream or any of those type of things, and then it almost feels like, it almost felt like it was trying to pull from, like, and I made this joke earlier, but it felt like it pulled from like the Dawson's Creek or the OC. It had that sort of like where these kids are like, or even like Clueless, where these kids are like overly witty and there's so many genitalia lines. I wrote them all down, so in the spoilery, I'll say them. But I just felt like it was trying too hard in a few moments, and then when everything starts, the shit, or I guess the hammer hits the fan.
Nice.
It didn't really have a lot of power to it. It just felt like it felt kind of limp. By the end of it, to where it's like, okay, well,
Is that your genitalia reference there?
that's my genitalia. Yeah. It just flopped right out. But and then it kind of ends in a very stupid way, I'll say. It's more like, why? So it didn't really. You have a moment with a character that didn't feel like that was needed to be earned or what, I don't know. But overall, yeah, I don't know. I agree. Like the first, they like we've said this many times before. If you're going to make a horror film, we need to get to learn to make who these characters are, so that we care about them when things start going awry. And I was at the point of like, let's just get to killing these characters.
Exactly.
I was like, I don't have no investment in these characters or the situations they're dealing with. And maybe it's because a lot of them were like these rich kids. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, they were a bit snotty.
Yeah, it felt that's why it felt like a little bit like the OC, where you have the poor kid that moves in with all the rich people, and I don't know. It just felt it felt as lifeless as the dead bodies in this film, and I just didn't. Yeah, I guess it was just it was trying hard at certain things, and it wasn't trying hard enough in other ways, and I just didn't gel at all for me to where it was like by the end of it, it's like, oh, I was kind of I was disappointed in it because I was looking forward to seeing this.
Yep.
All right. Well, Christopher didn't get his happy ending. All right, Dave. What was your first impression of Student Body?
Yeah, this movie committed the ultimate sin. It was just boring as shit. There was just nothing going on here. This movie was empty. It was devoid of pretty much any reason to acknowledge its existence, quite frankly. The trailer, when it came out, I remember posting it up on the site, and they made it look like it was going to be like a killer mascot kind of movie. That's really just not barely present at all. I mean, it's not even there. But it's just like the rest of the movie. There's barely anything. I wasn't even sure what was going on. I'm like, is the girl living in the woods? I'm not sure what she's doing. Because,
all the time either,
yeah, she was in the woods, and they made a couple comments about leaves in her hair and stuff. I'm like, what is she, a homeless girl? And she's snuck into this campus, and she's trying to, because they make a big deal about the fact that she's in the woods a lot, and also that she's very smart because they call her up and she solves that very complex. She's the only girl in the class that gets a 94 or whatever. Everyone else is getting
96.
Yeah, whatever it was. So if we were going to care about anyone, it would be her, right? But yeah, didn't care about her. No. Yeah, just didn't care. And I agree with earlier comments that the ending was just very,
Well, there's part of the ending is kind of fun, but
a little bit, but it still wasn't satisfying.
Well, okay, all right, fine. I guess I took you guys a little too literal about not going into these movies watching them angry because I enjoyed this a lot more than you guys did. I do agree with you though. It definitely pulls its punches when it needed to swing with that hammer. It needed to swing a lot harder than it did. And if it was going to go for the last, it needed to be a little bit more higher, a little over the top, a little bit more to give it a little bit more relevancy or something, because it kind of just felt, I don't know, it just celebrated these snobby kids and didn't, like you say, you don't really like them. I liked our lead a little bit more than you guys did, and I was interested to see what was going to happen with her, but I get it. I get it. And I think I was just in a good mood. So, go figure.
So
Go figure.
For me, the lead came off as this. It's a lot of this is this weak little puppy, and then she even admits, "No, I'd never kill someone, no matter what they did to me." And then by the end, we're supposed to believe that she's transformed this much. When it was like that happened in about 75% in.
I know she doesn't even say it. She doesn't even say that until like.
It's kind of ridiculous. No.
Well, I mean, it was.
It takes a lot of time to become as hard as me. Okay, she didn't do that in like 5 minutes. like that's not really the way life works. So,
but as soon as you said it, you knew it was going to happen. That was,
of course.
Yeah, it was telescope for sure.
Yeah, but, we didn't really need that foreshadowing though so much. I just wish. Really, I just did not care about these characters at all. I was so bored. I was like, God, the kids again? I just remember, there are so many scenes with these stupid kids. They could have cut out quite a bit of this. I don't know I don't know what.
Yeah, you had the gym scene and certain things that I guess they're supposed to flesh out who these characters are, but I by the end of it, I was like, I don't really care. And then finding the leaves in her hair, that just seemed like that was shoehorned in so that she'd have to be in the woods in the very end. It's like, oh, that's because she's climbing trees,
tree hugger.
And I was like, I don't know.
It sounds even worse when you say it out loud.
Well, yeah, we're already in spoiler.
They weren't spoilers. Yeah,
well, just saying, I like the tree climbing thing. I was like, this is stupid.
Silly. I know.
No,
yeah.
it wasn't stupid. Why was
It
stupid?
was. Oh my god. You know what? You know what I'm thinking, Doc? I'm thinking that you're just you must have been a little happy when you watched this movie. Okay.
I'm thinking there's a carbon monoxide leak.
Well, you know,
This might be a carbon dioxide.
let me point out probably why he was happy. It's all the references to female genitalia that were in the line. So it just says, "My mom is going to mail my labia to the dining room floor."
Okay, that was funny though.
Grow a uterus.
Yeah.
Chill your clit.
Okay,
That's
I have to admit, I did like that character. I did like that.
And here is this. This is not genitalia, but it's food oriented. So I like it. This is the line that is probably one of the stupidest lines I have ever heard in a movie. You always hide that cheesy side inside that tortilla face. What's hiding inside that burrito? What? What? I literally rewinded the
brain
movie
just exploded
because I thought that I was like, did I hear that right? Because the guy says it to her, the Harley Quinn Smith in the pool. I rewinded. I was like, that was a written piece of dialogue. Did they improvise that? Because that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I like food and I like Taco Bell, but I don't know that line. That just seems so like, I mean, and I know that Kevin Williamson used to get shit for writing Dawson's Creek because the kids would say these lines that, just witty lines, but these are just like, it felt like it was trying to be clueless, or it's like, we're going to create these cool lines these kids are going to say, but I was like, that kind of blew my mind. I'm like, they should just be killing people with bad lines of dialogue instead of a hammer, because that hit me over the head. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But it's like, and not to say this film wasn't shot well. It's shot really well. There's a really cool, almost like a Hitchcock scene where you see like the reflection of the dead body in the toilet through the blood.
The blood. Mm-hmm.
And although they did overuse what they call a smash cut, where you go and some big thing of action and sound happens and it cuts to a totally different scene, they do that twice. And that's good one time. You do it twice and you're overdoing it. And visually, I mean, it's shot kind of well in certain scenes, but then other scenes it's very kind of pedestrian, but yeah, I mean, the main actor, she felt like a young Ana de Armas in a little bit in some ways, and I she was okay, but I don't know, I felt like by the ending it didn't feel earned. How she transforms, and just all I'm gonna say is the whole street thing. I was like, what is this? Is stupid.
Okay, some of that, like, why didn't we have a close up of her feet and the sledgehammer, like, move? We've all seen an ending like this, okay? But why wasn't there any, there wasn't any impact with it because of the way that it was shot?
Well, for me, the whole thing is, if she's so smart, why is it going to make it seem like she's the killer by the end of it? So I don't know. There's this took those elements of what a slasher film is and then kind of knocked him to the wayside, to where I guess they were trying to make it sort of like The Descent. It's less about the monsters. It's more about the monsters who are people. But I don't know. And then just running down a hallway, just barely running down a hallway, and you hurt your ankle.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I can understand if you're running in the woods, but you're just running in a hallway. Oh, I hurt my ankle. It's like, oh my God, are we back in the 80s? What just happened here?
Well, let's be real. The motivation of the teacher, too, is super far-fetched and ridiculous.
Well, then why do you even...
Which is why it needed to be over the top more. If they were going to have that.
Well, and they're trying to make it more, I guess, serial killer-y or something, which I guess... It works because he was on Dexter, but I don't know. But then they try to throw on these it's a mystery who the killer is, and I'm like, it would be more interesting if the gym teacher was in that big white.
Yes, I agree. I would have loved the turnaround if the gym teacher had been the killer and then he actually saves them. That would have been kind of interesting, actually. Anything but what happened.
Maybe if they were in cahoots. Cahoots.
That could work too.
And they weren't really. There was really no inventive kills. I don't know. It
No,
just didn't
there were
fulfill
two
everything that I look for
there
when
were-
it comes
There,
to
there were.
a
It was all
slasher.
sledgehammer.
Nothing,
with the
nothing
head.
memorable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they tried to do the sledgehammer across the floor thing.
Oh God!
Yeah, that
And
never
I'll
worked.
tell
Oh
you,
yeah, the dragon.
one thing that annoyed the F out of me is somebody would die and the character's like, oh my God, what happened? But he they
Yeah.
never say it. They did that twice.
Okay, but wait. Also, when she found him and they had that scream, are you trying to tell me that those kids didn't hear that too? There's a lot there to like unpack that I was like really? She screamed her head off and y'all didn't hear it. And then she didn't come to run out to y'all. She decided to stay in there and just boohoo. No, none of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. And granted, we all know that slashers, sometimes the characters do silly things, but come on. And then
And then the guy goes in there. It's
Very
like,
good impersonation.
What
Yeah.
happened? Oh, he's And then later on, when the other guy has like, what happened to him? What are we doing? Shadow impressions?
I know.
Just say
What-
it.
but-
Just
what-
say
ugh.
it. I mean, it's like it's so drawn out.
I mean, if I had found Christopher lying on that toilet bleeding, I would have run out of there and been like, guys, you know.
You gotta see this.
Somebody who had to have killed him. So why
Yeah,
would he-
obviously. Like, I would have been really, I wouldn't have sat there. I wouldn't have, it bothers me.
Yeah, but that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. There's a lot of that. Yeah, it just seemed like I don't know. They needed to pick a direction and go with it. I don't think they did.
Didn't know what they wanted to be.
Yeah, they could have went over the top, and it could have been silly and funny, and people doing the character because they had a very silly, which is okay. They had a silly character doing the killing for the good part, right? The mascot with the big
I like
head.
the mascot.
And-
It's fun.
And it could have worked, but they didn't go either direction.
They didn't commit.
They didn't
Yeah.
commit to it being scary, and they didn't commit to it being funny. So it's just kind of there.
To me, it just felt like a missed opportunity. You got this big, goofy white guy head mascot that would have been just I mean, he could be the next Jason if he'd done it right.
Yeah.
But because we focus so much on these sort of, goofy characters that you don't really. I mean, I never understood the relationship between the rich girl and the main girl. I don't. Why are they friends? They
grew up.
I was a mother to you.
I know that was okay. That was a weird.
Oh God,
scene.
that scene!
was
I was
weird.
like, well,
That
I
was
guess I
okay.
probably, you wouldn't have to got me mad enough to push you.
Yeah, no.
I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely triggered something in her that she didn't know was there. All right.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap this up. Let's go ahead and
Yeah.
give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Crystal,
Okay.
you're up first.
Okay, so I think we've pretty much discussed everything that we feel about this movie. It's not horrible.
No?
Okay, it's
No? Okay.
just boring. And I think had it, the first the first 30 minutes been cut, it'd be way better and a little bit more violent. I'd appreciate that. I do like the vagina jokes. I could deal with more of that. It's funny. But God, when you bore me, man, oof. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 because I do think it's still an attractive movie. I think there's Christian in there, which helps. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. And my favorite scene. Oh God, my favorite scene is is the panther jump. I call it the panther jump. It's at the end when she jumps out of the tree.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Oh my God, because it made me laugh. Okay, because literally I was there and I was like, and I cracked up because it was so ridiculous. So that got me. It got me.
Christopher, you're up next. What was your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene?
Stu Don't Body.
Nice.
No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Yeah. This film focuses on different areas and doesn't do well in any of those areas. I mean, I will say it. I don't hate the characters, but I don't think they were given a lot to sort of work with when it comes to the story. And then there was so much focus on certain elements that didn't really help the story move along. By the time we got to the killers, I was happy. I was like, somebody needs to start killing these kids off. But yeah, I don't know. It was just trying so hard with some of the pieces of dialogue, and normally I don't mind that. I mean, if you want to watch some witty dialogue, go watch Freaky. There's some really funny,
yes,
witty, hilarious dialogue in that doesn't seem forced. And
Happy Death Day for that matter.
Or Happy Death Day. One anything by that director and any of the writers. But this, yeah, it's what's hiding inside the burrito of this is blandness, and I don't know,
It's meatless.
what we're doing here. Yeah,
Meatless.
It's not even good meatless. It's
It's not your mama's meatloaf.
yeah, it's
Aw. I miss meatloaf.
it's impossible funny. But yeah, I don't know what more to say about this. It's
Impossible.
this. I don't know.
Sorry,
to me,
I just got that.
Yeah, that's
well, I know
wait,
it was
That's
a
good.
vegetarian food joke that probably went over most people's
I totally
Yeah.
laughed. I just
No, it bounced off the wall and hit me in the back of the head. It was awesome.
or a Beyond slasher. But yeah, I got to put my food analogies in there. Yeah, this film needs to grow a uterus when it comes to how it tells a slasher story. It didn't really work for me. It kind of becomes different films at different points.
Mm-hmm.
And the ending doesn't really deliver how it should. When it comes to the final girl and that kind of thing. When you've got such a big goofy mascot killer character, do something with that a little bit more, because then the killer sort of that character disappears like last part of the movie. I don't know. I don't know. I probably out of all of us, I was really looking forward to seeing this because I love a good
I was
slasher.
too. Mm-hmm.
But I guess I like my slashers more fun, and this was not fun. This was a little bit irritating to get through. So I will give it. I'll give it
Excuse
a
me.
2.
A 2.
I'll give it a 2. I don't. Or I'll give it a.
You can go with a 2.
Give
Go
it
with
a
a 2.
D minus. That's better rate it. As for favorite scene, I'll say the scene in the photo lab because I like the way that was framed when he's about to kiss her.
Yeah, I did too.
And
Okay, that's a good one.
he gets hit up and the blood splatters on the picture of her. I thought that was really cool visually. And those type of moments I wish there was more of. That was the kind of inventive kill type thing I wanted to see more of. Because in other things, it's like a lot of the kills are just off camera. You don't even see it.
Yeah.
You just see sometimes the aftermath, and it's like, not to say that they have to be that gory. The Scream films were great. Didn't have to be naturally gory, but yeah, I don't know. But that's my favorite scene. That thing's like that. Although I'm after seeing that, I was like, oh, that's a cool shot. I like that. So
Good.
that's my favorite scene.
Good. I agree with that. Dave, sir, how you doing?
Short and sweet. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Best review
Lay it on
ever.
me. Lay it on me.
Doll. 2. Final scene because it's the only thing I remember. Next.
Final scene.
Wait. Doll 2. Okay. I thought you said doll.
No,
Okay.
doll.
I think it's doll.
It gets a 2, and the final scene, just because it's the only scene that I can actually recall.
Oh dear.
Oh
God.
boy.
All right, fine. Oh my. All right. I seem
Oh
to
God, I
find
feel.
a little bit more enjoyment than this, but I agree with everything you guys are saying. It did not deliver on what I was hoping it would be. I wanted more out of our killer mascot, and but I don't know. I was in for it for whatever reason. I liked our main characters, our two main characters, and I don't know. I'm stupid. It needed to up the stakes. It needed to stop pulling the punches, and it needed to commit to either being full on scary or full on funny, or a little more of both. Even it just kind of somebody said pedestrian somewhere along the line. That's not too bad. Not too bad at times. So, and like you said, the teacher just was like, how is that guy still a teacher these days? But I guess when they interviewed when they went to the principal, I guess you could see why, right? So I don't know. They were trying to make a point. It seems like it was decade too late, maybe. So I was going to give it 2.25. No, yeah, 2.25. Somebody liked it better than me. Who did?
Me?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. Maybe. Do I want to go 2.5?
You gotta go with what you feel.
2.25.
Don't
So
let us,
my favorite scene, if I can't have the sledgehammer at the end, I'm going to go with the tumble off of the second floor library.
Oh yeah, okay.
I liked how she was just pushing all the right buttons and the character kind of snapped, and that was what triggered what you were looking for, Crystal. That that event triggered everything. That I felt she was in denial all along. I felt there was something fishy with her from the beginning.
Oh, maybe that's what I missed.
So there you go. That's my review. Student Body. Look for it, February 8th. Leave your comments down below. Tell us how wrong we are, because
Oh boy.
I love to read it and you guys like to write it. So
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what we got? What?
There's a
What?
reason. That's a reason pencils are number 2.
Oh, yeah. Depend. I could have went with the blue coloring pencil.
Huh?
Jab to the eyeball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah,
The
okay.
reason for that was anyway. Let's.
Yes, it was lame. All right, Crystal, Christopher, and of course Dave. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, all.
Let's say good
Always
night.
fun.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Gruesome Magazine.